Welcome back to the Clearinghouse Services video series. In this video, we'll be identifying the different users within the clearinghouse and the different responsibilities of each role. So who were the users for the new FMCSA Clearinghouse, also known as the CDL Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse? The users include employers, drivers, medical review officers, often referred to as MROs, substance abuse professionals, referred to as SAPs or SAPs, and Consortium third-party administrators, referred to as CTPAs. All of these users must first register in the clearinghouse in order to access the clearinghouse database. So let's first talk about employers and the clearinghouse. An employer representative must register in the clearinghouse. This employer representative will be the designated administrator for the clearinghouse, and this administrator can also assign other employer representatives in order to give them access to the clearinghouse database. The employer representative can also assign CTPAs in the clearinghouse to work with the clearinghouse on behalf of the employer. The CTPA will need to be registered in the clearinghouse in order for the employer to designate the CTPA in the clearinghouse in order to act on behalf of the employer. Owner-operators are employers as well as drivers and must use the services of a CTPA in the clearinghouse. The owner-operator must designate the CTPA within their clearinghouse. Employer activities within the clearinghouse include reporting alcohol tests at 0.04 or above, reporting alcohol test refusals, reporting violations of known, actual knowledge, use of drugs or alcohol in violation of DOT and FMCSA regulations, reporting the negative result of a return to duty test, reporting the completion date of SAP required follow-up testing. Employers must make the reports by the close of the third business day following the date on which the employer obtained the information. Now let's talk about employers and queries. Employers have the responsibility of querying the clearinghouse database when hiring a new driver to ensure that that driver has not had a previous violation and not completed the SAP return to duty process. The driver must register and provide consent for the query. Employers have the responsibility of performing an annual query for all currently employed drivers. A limited query can be performed, and then if any information comes up, a full query is required. The driver consent for a limited query can be an internal consent, while the driver consent for the full query must be in the clearinghouse. So let's talk about drivers and the clearinghouse. Now, drivers are not required to register in the clearinghouse, but they must register in order to perform activities within the clearinghouse. These activities include providing consent for a query, reviewing their driver information housed in the clearinghouse, filing a petition to challenge the accuracy of the information on the driver that is housed in the clearinghouse, and when a violation occurs, the driver must identify the substance abuse professional that the driver will see for the return to duty process. Now let's talk about the medical review officers and the clearinghouse. The MRO, or medical review officer, has significant and very important duties in the clearinghouse. The MRO is required to report to the clearinghouse any DOT drug test positive result and any MRO determined refusal to test. The refusal to test reporting includes test results reported as substituted or adulterated, which is indicating potential cheating on the test. The MRO has 2 business days to report into the clearinghouse once the final test result is verified and reported. MROs also have a responsibility within 1 business day to report any changes of results previously reported to the clearinghouse. If for any reason a result was reported as negative and it changes to positive, the MRO would then be required to report this change. The information the MRO is required to report to the clearinghouse for a DOT drug test violation is as follows: the date of the test and the date of the verified result, the reason for the test, along with the test result. In the case of an adulterated specimen, the adulterant substance and the reason for the adulterant determination must be reported. The Federal Drug Testing Chain of Custody Form specimen ID number, the driver's name, commercial driver's license number, and state of issuance, and the date of birth, the employer's name, address, and U.S. DOT number, if applicable. Now let's talk about the substance abuse professionals and the clearinghouse. The substance abuse professional must enter specific information regarding the driver's return to duty activities. Specifically, the SAP must report driver information including driver's name, date of birth, commercial driver's license number, and state of issuance, the date of initial assessment starting out the return to duty process, and the date the SAP determined the driver demonstrated successful compliance with education and treatment requirements and is eligible for return to duty testing. Once the driver completes the SAP program with successful compliance with education and treatment requirements and is released by the SAP, a return to duty test and follow-up testing are required in order for the driver to enter into and continue performing DOT safety-sensitive duties. Now, let's talk about CTPAs and the clearinghouse. The CTPA can perform clearinghouse activities on behalf of the employer. For the owner-operator, who is considered both an employer and a driver, the CTPA is required to act on the owner-operator's behalf. Employers and owner-operators must designate the CTPA to act on their behalf in the clearinghouse. The first step for the CTPA is to register in the clearinghouse. Employers may then designate a CTPA who can report violations and perform queries on their behalf. An owner-operator is an employer that employs himself or herself as a CDL driver and must designate the CTPA in the clearinghouse for reporting violations. Queries can be performed by the owner-operator, or he or she could designate the CTPA to perform queries. And let's end this video by talking about the help that is available with the clearinghouse. ClearinghouseServices.com is a private entity with the mission and goal to help clearinghouse users with their responsibilities in the new FMCSA Clearinghouse. Services are available for employers, drivers, MROs, SAPs, and CTPAs. Membership programs are available for employers and service agents. Assistance for drivers is available a la carte. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you found it helpful in any way, hit that like button and consider sharing it with your friends and colleagues on social, via email, or even text message. And to stay updated with the FMCSA Clearinghouse and other helpful info, subscribe to the Clearinghouse Services channel.